So the new update is out now. We have a lot to go over, including the new weapons being added to 3-star dungeons and now being able to craft them. However, there is still a bunch missing, including the ability to craft like the Auric set and this best in slot cape for flowers. Additionally, be aware there's a pretty big shop update with these new outfits, weapon skins, and a new morph. The new solo dungeons have also released, with a change to the tiers and obtainable nebula accessories. Unfortunately, we did not get trait resonance just yet. We're gonna have to wait at least another week or two. So let's jump into the details and everything you should be doing. First of all, your 3-star dungeons. Be aware the drop rates are pretty minimal in terms of actually getting those weapons. The best is 3% in Rankerwood and Doomrot Grove to get the Burkent daggers and the Valorous wand. In Halls of Tragedy, Chapel of Madness and Twisted Laboratory, they both have 2 weapons, so that's half the drop rate then at only 1.5. You're going to need a lot of dungeon runs to get them to drop, but thankfully they've added the ability to simply buy them with loyalty coins. It is a whopping 400 of them, but if you've been saving them for exactly that, you should have enough by now. You just need to be careful whether or not it's a good investment for you or not. Like the Grey Eye Staff. In PvE, I would not use it versus the Foci Staff. And that's the same story for the wand. I'm still going to stay with the Codex for PvE damage. It's better than the new one. For actually healing, yes, this one's really good with the boost to the invincible wall, but you can just as readily stay with the Overture for the extra healing. In terms of the daggers, I would also just stay with the Peerless in general because they have significantly better base attack speed with then boost to Fatal Stigma, cooldown speed, and even having the attack speed trait versus the Birkin not having all of that, and it's just generally better than for PvP, where that's not as important. The new Greatsword, I believe, is generally just for buffers, like tanks, and you still be better off with, say, the Warblade in PvE, followed by Tebent. The damage boost on Da Vinci is a flat 16, not a 16%. Same with your Sword and Shield. The Crimson one, not gonna beat the Blade of Fiendish Fortitude, but as a tank specifically, it's not gonna matter too much. The buff duration will help to improve the duration of those buffs, helping your team. For the crossbow, the Birkent ones are really good, especially for that mana in PvE, although I haven't done the math to compare them versus the Annihilation crossbows. They still might be best due to the species damage, and pretty much the same base damage. In terms of longbow, also again for PvE, still better off to go with Titan Spine in most cases. I doubt the cooldown is enough for your decisive sniping, but seek for more confirmation on that, with then your Arc of Lunar Radiance still being the best for a support, like your healers. And for the spear, definitely go with the Crimson one. Just the attack speed is huge, along with actually being able to get attack speed trait 2. Generally will beat the Wind Shear Spear just by that little bit. But again, there's a bunch of gear that's missing, at least in alternative ways to obtain it. For example, if you look here with Della's Noah and you check out these flowers, you click view usage, it claims you can use them to get the Cloak of the Frozen Expanse and the Restraints of the Glacial Queen. You click craft on those and it even shows you the recipe in the crafting book. However, when you actually go to your crafter, it's nowhere in sight. You can see not listed here. You can go to your merchants and it's also not available. This, however, could be a bug, and it may just not be intended that they even add those as craftable. That's also true then for your loyalty coins. You click view usage, you can see everything here, and they state like even the Auric set would be craftable. But this again may be a bug spilling over from the Korean server of the game, where they do indeed have these craftable. It's listed here, 320 loyalty coins, but when you actually go to the crafter, it's no longer available. you need the lithograph. Again, you can still save loyalty coins hoping for that update at some point, or it might just be a bug. But now let's jump to the shop. We can see there's the new Stormcaller Shroud. This comes with the headpiece as well for 1,250 Lucent for that set. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the better skins that they've released, along with here for the female character. And you do have the option to remove the decoration and change the colors. This is the male skin without said decoration. The headpiece is a little bit different as well for male and female. You can see that crown, it's kind of floating though. And then for the female character, it's more of that headdress. Again, I really like the skin. It's just unfortunate you can't change the color of that glowy effect of those tattoos. But that outfit also comes with these new weapons, the Stormcaller weapons, which you can indeed actually dye with this latest update. You can also do the same with the Fortunate weapons, the Sanguine weapons, and the recently released Abyssal weapons. You just need to go to custom here, and then you can select whatever dye you want, and then it's going to list how much that's going to cost you in terms of dye. It's just I don't have these weapons right now, so it's not going to show it for me, and the weapons I do have, I can't dye. But this is the Stormcaller Spear, then the Stormcaller Greatsword, the Staff, which can probably miss for a bow, but this is what the bow looks like. Then the Sword and the Shield, with the Book and the Wand, the Daggers, and the Crossbows. Just be aware the dyeing does have its limitations. You can't change the color of the particle effects. If I make the entire shield like dark red, my lightning is still going to be gold. There's no way to change that to say red lightning. But this store update does bring a new dash morph too. This Panda Ursa. Pretty cute actually. It is just for the cosmetics of it, only earning you 3 growth points for 750 Lucent. Returning is this turtle, this Amatoy, this one too, along with Sunny Pippin. And I believe that's it for the shop update here. Be aware you can't actually sell these weapons. You can only sell their traits, which is going for quite a bit, but still, I wouldn't consider 400 loyalty coins to really be worth only like 500 Lucent. So if you did obtain said weapon, you got an undesirable trait, you're better off trying to re-roll that into something better. But I think the price on these is just going to go down over time because people are going to run these dungeons. It's going to drop and people are going to sell them. I would just be patient on your trait unlocks. Again, the battle pass did get adjusted so that we are back to being able to buy 2 of the abundance fruit and 2 of the mastery reports for that price. And we do still have 3 weeks left on this thing, but it seems the amount of star crystals we're getting is very low and we will not end up with a bunch extra to actually buy a lot of this stuff. The first thing I did when logging in was to attend a field boss. Unfortunately, however, I was met with an infinite loading screen. Just kept going on and on and on until I decided to force close the game. I reloaded it, got this error, reloaded it again, and missed the boss fight. I seriously hope this is not happening more with this update. Very triggering to miss those boss fights, as the drops from them can be particularly valuable. We do have a new secret dungeon, claim your rewards from the previous week, simply get your achievement rewards here, very nice, and the new solo dungeons, get those done, 3 of them at the highest rank possible for you, ideally on expert, but I still don't have the combat power yet, with the extra chance to get nebula accessories. Get your weekly missions done, all those extra purple runes, attend your dynamic events, again try and use up those 15 contribution certificates, and go to the ones that give you these crystals and these ores. Ideally this Dominion event, but if you don't want to engage in PvP, go to like the Festival of Fire here. It's a bit less crystals and a bit less ores, but still very much worth going to. And finally, all your weekly merchants, the ink and extract stones from your contract coin merchant, contract scrolls and foods from your sundries merchant, potions, crystals, materials, trait conversion stones from your guild merchant, ores, materials, and crystals, and even powder from your resistance goods merchant. Ideally also getting the 50 nebula pouches every week, and potentially the conquest chests. However, the drop rates on those is super minuscule at actually getting anything good here, so definitely don't prioritize them over these 50 pouches first, as the loot from here is usually more valuable in terms of being able to sell it, lithograph it, and some even drop as just straight up sellable, and maintain your Amatoi expeditions. Ultimately, that's it for this update. Again, those new weapons being added, for the most part, they are more PvP orientated, with some though being better for PvE versus the PvE specific weapons. Like again, for the most part, weapons with species damage boost are just that bit better than anything else, because that's like 6% more damage. But be sure to check out what other people say and what they use for their builds. I'll be sticking with the Foci and the Codex as my book and wand for Invocator, and similarly the Peerless Daggers with the Codex wand for my Dark Blighter. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.